What if the person you believe yourself to be, is nothing more than a carefully constructed prison? Pause, a cage built not by external forces, but by your own mind. Pause, this isn't about physical confinement. Pause, it's about the invisible bars of identity that subtly, yet profoundly, shape your entire reality. We spend our lives assembling this self. Pause, a collection of labels. Pause, roles. Pause, memories. Pause, beliefs. Pause, we are the artist, the engineer, the quiet one, the strong one, the victim of circumstance. Pause, and we cling to these definitions with fierce loyalty, almost as if our very existence depends on them. Pause, they give us comfort. Pause, predictability. Pause, a sense of belonging within our social structures. Pause, but at what profound cost to our true potential? From the moment we are born, the world begins to sculpt us. Pause, parents, teachers, friends, media, culture. Pause, they tell us who we are expected to be. Pause, what we're good at. Pause, what our future should look like. Pause, we internalize these narratives, often without conscious thought. Pause, we adopt them as our own personal truths. Pause, and then, through our choices and actions, we reinforce them daily. Every success, every failure, every significant experience is meticulously woven into the tapestry of me. Pause, it becomes our personal mythology. Pause, our compelling story that we tell ourselves and others. Pause, and we live inside that story's boundaries. Pause, often, without ever pausing to question its fundamental truth or its current relevance. Think about it deeply. Pause, when someone asks, "Who are you?" what's your immediate, automatic response? Pause, is it a job title? Pause, a relationship status? Pause, a dominant personality trait you've adopted? Pause, these are fragments. Pause, convenient labels. Pause, they are not the infinite, dynamic, and fluid being that resides underneath. Pause, they are the walls of your cage. The danger lies precisely in this fixity. Pause, in the absolute, unquestioning conviction that, this is irrevocably who I am. Pause, because if this rigid definition is who you are, then anything that lies beyond this feels not just unfamiliar, but threatening. Pause, impossible. Pause, even fundamentally wrong. You might hear yourself declare, "I'm not a spontaneous person." Pause, and just like that, doors to adventure, to new friendships, to unexpected joys, are immediately and firmly shut. Pause, not because you lack the capacity for spontaneity. Pause, but because your predefined identity demands that you aren't. Pause, your self-imposed cage dictates your entire view of what's possible for you. This identity cage doesn't just limit, it actively prevents evolution. Pause, it makes personal growth and transformation feel like a profound betrayal. Pause, betrayal of who you should be. Pause, of the stable, predictable person you've carefully presented to the world. Pause, and even, a betrayal of the comfortable image you hold of yourself. Pause, the fear of losing this familiar self, this ego death, can be more terrifying than physical pain. Consider Sarah, a brilliant woman. Pause, Sarah has identified as the smart, analytical one, her entire life. Pause, she consistently achieved top grades, earned degrees from prestigious universities, and secured a high-paying, intellectually demanding corporate job. Pause, but deep down, beneath the layers of achievement, she yearns to paint. Pause, to sculpt. Pause, to create with her hands, to get messy, to express raw emotion. Pause, yet, the powerful identity of the smart, logical one screams at her, artists aren't logical. Pause, it's not a serious, stable career. Pause, what will your colleagues, your parents, you think? Pause, her identity, her carefully curated self-image, is her cage. Or think of Mark. Pause, Mark defines himself as the dependable, loyal friend, always the helper, the fixer. Pause, he's always there for everyone, sacrificing his own boundaries, absorbing their emotional drama, putting their needs before his own. Pause, he's perpetually exhausted, silently resentful, but feels utterly unable to say no to requests. Pause, because the loyal friend simply doesn't say no. Pause, his identity holds him captive in a web of exhausting, often unreciprocated, relationships. Pause, he cannot see a version of himself where he prioritizes his own well-being without losing his very sense of self. Even in our modern digital interactions, in dating apps or social media, pause, we present a meticulously curated self. Pause, a persona. Pause, we often fall in love with someone's carefully constructed identity, and they with ours. Pause, but when that identity inevitably shifts and evolves, as all living, breathing beings and relationships must, pause, the connection often crumbles. Pause, we find ourselves mourning not the real, evolving person, but the lost image. Pause, the comfortable, predictable cage we collaboratively built. So, how do we begin to identify and then break these invisible bars? Pause, how do we courageously dismantle the cage built by our own minds? Pause, it begins, profoundly, with awareness. Pause, with radical, non-judgmental self-observation. Pause. First, observe, pause, become an impartial witness to your inner landscape. Pause, notice the stories you constantly tell yourself. Pause, about your past failures. Pause, about your inherent capabilities. Pause, about your immutable limitations. Pause, pay attention to the labels you instinctively attach to yourself and to others. Pause, simply observe these patterns, these narratives, without engaging in self-criticism or judgment. Pause, just watch them as they arise and pass. Pause. Second, question, pause, once observed, hold these identities up to the light of inquiry. Pause, ask yourself, with genuine curiosity and courage, is this truly me, at my core? Pause, or is this a narrative I inherited, a role I was assigned? Pause, is it a belief I adopted in childhood, or a reaction I've conditioned myself to make over decades? Pause, does this particular identity, this self-definition, truly serve my highest good and deepest joy, or does it actually imprison me? Pause, question everything. Pause. Third, experiment, pause, this is where the real liberation begins. Pause, deliberately step outside your perceived boundaries. Pause, do something the quiet one would never dare. Pause, attempt something the non-creative would dismiss as impossible. Pause, embrace a new, challenging hobby. Pause, learn a completely unfamiliar skill. Pause, say yes to an unexpected invitation when you'd normally say no, or firmly say no when you'd typically acquiesce. Pause, feel the inevitable discomfort. Pause, that discomfort is not a sign of wrongness, it's the visceral sensation of the cage bars bending, expanding, and eventually breaking. Pause. Fourth, embrace impermanence, pause, this is perhaps the most profound realization. Pause, you are not a static, finished product. Pause, you are, at your essence, a dynamic, ever-unfolding process. Pause, a powerful river, constantly flowing, constantly adapting, constantly changing its course. Pause, the self you identified with yesterday is not, and cannot be, the self of today. Pause, and the self of today will not be the self of tomorrow. Pause, this continuous transformation is not a loss of self. Pause, it is, in its deepest sense, liberation. Pause, it is the ultimate freedom. Socrates famously said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Pause, and to that timeless wisdom, I would respectfully add, pause, the unexamined identity is a life profoundly unlived. Pause, a life lived perpetually within the confines of a self-imposed, albeit comfortable, cage. True freedom isn't about desperately escaping external constraints or seeking validation from the world. Pause, it's about courageously transcending the internal limitations. Pause, It's about realizing, deep within your being, that you are not merely your labels. Pause, you are not solely your past experiences. Pause, you are not just the stories you tell yourself. Pause, you are the vast, luminous awareness behind it all. Pause, the infinite potential, ceaselessly waiting to unfold in new and magnificent ways. Break free from the cage. Pause, step boldly into the boundless expanse of who you truly are. Pause, discover the magnificent, ever-evolving being you were always meant to become. Pause, the journey starts now. If this message resonated with you, if you felt a spark of truth ignite within these words, I wholeheartedly invite you to join this growing community of seekers. Pause, hit the like button to help spread this crucial wisdom to others who are searching for freedom. Pause, comment below and bravely share what identity, what self-imposed cage, you're ready to acknowledge and ultimately let go of. Pause, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into the nature of self, consciousness, and reality. Pause, your journey to true, unencumbered freedom awaits.